Welcome to John Mike Keene. There's some pretty cool news with Elon Musk. They're cleaning up the government. They're going to shrink it, but it will affect his own business of Tesla, and he don't give a dang. Let's watch. Here's Reuters. President-elect Donald Trump's transition team is planning to kill the $7,500 consumer tax credit for electric vehicle purchases as part of the broader tax reform legislation. Two sources with direct knowledge of the matter told Reuters. Now, remember, this is the only reason why electric cars are viable and worth it, is the government gives them $7,500 in consumer tax credit. Okay. Ending that tax credit could have grave implications for an already stalling U.S. EV transition. And yet, representatives of Tesla, by far the nation's largest EV seller, have told a Trump transition committee they support ending the subsidy, said the two sources who spoke on condition of anonymity. By the way, Elon Musk himself has said end all subsidies. This is a form of politician, Elon Musk is, that we haven't met before. That is when something even cuts against his own business interest, he supports the value. That's what a virtue is. That's what a real man does, is even if it costs him money, if it goes against his beliefs, he's for ending the government subsidy.
Honestly, I would just can this whole bill. Don't pass it. That's my recommendation.
What about the support, though, for the charging network? I mean, there are parts of this bill. And no?
No. Do we need support for gas stations? We don't. There's no need for support for a charging network. I would delete it. Delete.
Okay, all right.
I'm literally saying get rid of all subsidies. Also for oil and gas.
Think about also how this affects your competitors.
I mean, maybe they need it. I don't know. I'm in favor of deleting subsidies. I mean, when we started Tesla, there were no EV subsidies at all, and gasoline was super cheap. The $7,500 tax credit came as a result not of Tesla activity, but of General Motors lobbying for it. I would just say delete them all.
There's some other good things in this bill. Some would argue, I mean, a lot of money earmarked for R&D. Would you want to put that towards something?
No.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on from the bill because I think we get what you're saying on it.
In general, if we don't cut government spending, there's something really bad's going to happen. This is crazy. Our spending is so far in excess of revenue, it's insane.
Now, here's blah, blah, McBlah, blah. This is a money guy over Bill Ackman over on the Megyn Kelly show on how business is going to explode under Trump.
Teams of their businesses are extremely optimistic. Even those that have voted against Trump are excited about what's going to happen with the economy. So I think we're going to have a big economic boom, and actually freeing up a meaningful number of government employees to make them available to the private sector will actually help manage the potential for inflation.
Even Democrats that didn't support Trump is going to fix their world too. It would be a hellscape for Republicans under Kamala Harris's world, but Democrats who did not vote for Trump, you're all going to benefit. The businessmen are all going to get rich. You're going to have a freer world, a freer business economy that's more successful.
You know, the cost cutting is one thing, but making the government more efficient on regulatory approvals, you think about how difficult it is in America to build a bridge, a highway, a house, and the faster, if you can accelerate construction, obviously that has a huge impact on infrastructure, the fluidity of the economy, driving demand, and actually I think freeing up government workers to step into some of these roles that will be created will actually help the economy manage through this period.
So in canning the government workers, they're going to try to push them into the private sector. I mean, where they can actually get a job at a real company and create real products instead of living off the grift of government. You're going to see an economic blow up. It's going to be good for your stocks, good for your retirement, good for the economy. It's coming. Just hold tight.
You wrote in that X post to which I referred and you mentioned that merger and acquisition activity is about to explode.
Yes. So the Biden administration has been, and Lena Khan, who's led the FTC, very anti sort of merger.
This is also why you can't put your finger on the scales. Sooner or later, the free market does wake up and come in with a backlash. In this case, they made it a hostile environment for mergers and acquisitions. That is, a company like Facebook could not go and buy three smaller companies, right, that were doing really well. You'd think that was neat because we all want to punish Facebook. But no, that's not how it works. Some of these companies can barely survive. And so they go out of business because the government wouldn't allow a larger corporation to merge with them.
And the result of that is, many of the startups in our country don't get to a scale where they can go public. They have to be basically sold. And if you don't allow the Facebooks and the Googles and the other companies to make acquisitions, these businesses eventually either run out of capital or run out of opportunity.
I have a good friend who worked in a startup, and it's a computer kind of pie in the sky startup that was doing kind of robotic or AI based legal work. I mean, it was a really neat company. He was doing great. And eventually they just said, look, we don't have enough profits. We are looking to get acquired. We did not get acquired. So we're laying everybody off. Everybody gone today. All of you. These smaller companies are going to suddenly do well. As soon as Trump gets into office, they're going to allow themselves to be bought. These mergers and acquisitions are going to explode and move and push new money into the economy.
And, there are a lot of big companies where meaningful synergies can be created when one business buys another. But if you can't do a deal, you have to sort of put it on hold. And sort of the antitrust environment in the last 4 years was one in which you wouldn't even try to do a transaction. I think that's going to change. And so there's sort of a long list of transactions that are waiting to happen.
They fear the government, rightly so. The government is terrible for business, so they just wait till the next administration comes. Here's parody site, the Babylon Bee, with a great headline. Department of Government Efficiency identifies 535 government workers who haven't done any work for years. And there's your government. I'm John Mike Keane.